Before I start this video, the best hint tip trick I have for you when setting up your iPhone on your gimbal is balance it. Balance it perfectly. Basically, get to a point where you can hold your gimbal and your iPhone doesn't droop to one side or the other. Because yes, your gimbal will still work, but the motor will be working so hard to keep it upright, it's gonna run out of batteries pretty fast. So the more it's working to keep it right side up, the more likely the batteries will burn out. So balance it to get optimal battery life. Now with that, let's start with the review. Hello Amazon.com, it's me, Beau. I am coming to you today with this Rigiet, I don't know how it's pronounced, but this little thing is a stabilizer. It's a brushless gimbal, and you can kind of see my thumb right there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it that way and then turn it this way. We can go up, we can go down, and what's kind of cool about this thing, if you were to look at my little thumb right there, when I push this, it actually resets it. So check it out, 1, 2, 3, reset right there. Which is kind of handy if you get kind of out of whack and you don't know where you are. You just click it once and it locks it back into the original position. And so I run Spartan races with this thing, not in selfie mode like this, but I actually run Spartan races for NBC Sports as well as ESPN. And you may have actually seen some of my footage out there as I run with this exact setup with an iPhone connected. And the iPhone is actually streaming to a server, and then they cut it up and then they push it out as a live feed to Facebook. So I have had a lot of experience with these things, specifically the Evo type brands. I also did some run and gun shooting for a local firearm dealership with the Evo stabilizer similar to this. But what I like about this is you can actually see there's a bit of a grip on there. It's kind of a rubberized grip. Normally I have to put tape on that thing in order for my hand not to slip. But they've just integrated a small little grip type system into that. It sort of feels like a grip that you'd put on a bicycle, so that it doesn't slip when my hand gets sweaty. I really appreciate that. The only downside to this, I'd say, is if you listen really closely, there's kind of that clicking noise. That's because this little joystick is sort of plasticky. And so if you flick that too much, it's going to create kind of a flick sound on your video, and you don't necessarily want that. If you're at a skate park and you're making music videos, you're not going to care about the audio because there's going to be music over your there's going to be music on your video anyway. So all this to say, for the price point, I would give this a 5 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend something like this to add that next level of production. If all you have is an iPhone to film, you can also use an Android as well, but I'm just saying iPhone because I'm testing this with an iPhone 6s. It does actually get bigger to accommodate something as large as the iPhone 10 or Plus or any of those different options. Do keep in mind also with this thing, the little settings on the side, you can, right now I'm on Y. If you flick it to L, it will pretty much lock in one position. So no matter where I go with this, it's pretty much always pointing at me. As opposed to flicking it back to original, and I do the same thing. As you can see, now we're going all over the place and I can actually tell it where to go. And so there are a few different settings to play with this thing, but hopefully this gives you a real-world demonstration how this thing looks. It's super buttery smooth, highly recommended if in fact you are using an iPhone to go out and, well, create cinematic stories. Last hint tip trick, hold it like a lightsaber. Don't necessarily hold it up and down, it'll be a little jittery, and don't hold it straight out like this, it will still be jittery. Hold it like a lightsaber, sort of 45-degree angle like that. That's what I've learned doing professional filmography out on the out in the world using these real-world things. All right, I will catch you later, guys.